U.S. federal employees returned to work today in Washington, the day after President Donald Trump signed legislation ending the 43-day government shutdown, the longest in U.S. history. Federal workers will start receiving pay, national perks will reopen, and essential government services will resume. The shutdown began over a dispute about health care subsidies for low-income Americans. Senate Democrats blocked a temporary funding bill, triggering the stalemate. Some Democrats later broke ranks to end the shutdown, receiving few concessions in return. U.S. President Donald Trump hailed the reopening as a major victory, while Democratic leaders face backlash from their party's progressive wing. The deal funds most federal agencies through January 30th, guarantees retroactive pay for 1.4 million federal workers, and fully funds key programs like SNAP, WIC, and Veterans Medical Care. It also includes funding for Capitol security and protections for lawmakers and Supreme Court justices. Congress must act again by the end of January to avoid another shutdown. Now for this discussion, we welcome David K. Johnston. He's an American author, joins us live from New York. Thank you very much, David, for joining us again. Good to see you. David, now looking at this, how do you think Trump views this shutdown, and how does he plan to leverage the end of 43-day government shutdown to strengthen his political position?
Well, Donald sees himself primarily as a dictator. He has said, I have an Article 2 of the American Constitution that says I can do anything I want. It says nothing of the kind, but it's his assertion that he is all-powerful. And he does not want to provide health care subsidies to about 20 million poor Americans who have not very good but passable health insurance, health care coverage. And he went to court to not have to provide food, nutritional benefits to pregnant women, infants, toddlers, and people in general. It's about 50 million Americans, or 1 in 7, who rely on federal food aid, something that didn't exist 50 years ago because of the changes in the American economy, where all of the growth and benefits have been going to people in the top quarter of the population, and especially the top 10th of 1%. So Donald looks upon this as, see how powerful I am, I got what I wanted. I'm not sure he did. This issue is going to come back up in a matter of weeks at the end of January, and the Democrats are quite firm that they insist that health care not be taken away from 17 million Americans, which will cause health care costs for everyone else to go up because there's a smaller pool of people using health care services.
And what does Trump's framing of the shutdown resolution as a major victory again indicate about his negotiation strategy with Congress?
Well, Donald frames everything as a victory for him. I mean, we just saw his press secretary say that the new emails further establishing Donald Trump's relationship with the serial child rapist Jeffrey Epstein show he did nothing wrong. I mean, anything that happens that's negative to Trump, they just assert it's a positive because that's the nature of how he operates, and he has for the almost 40 years I've known and covered him. But Trump will try and use this to see if he can set wedges between various Democrats. If he can somehow exploit this to get some Democrats who are in what may be tough re-election districts next year to ease off, that will be his primary goal, because he's not interested in health care for anyone. He has said now for 10 years that we need to repeal the Affordable Care Act, the signature achievement of Barack Obama, but he's never come up with another plan. He just says we have concepts of a plan. And the reality is Donald doesn't care about poor people, and he's demonstrating he doesn't care.
Tell us that from your extensive coverage of 4 decades on Trump, why is he so distant, or why is he so untouched with the reality over, does he know of the fact that so many American people live in poverty and a lot of lives depend on the food program like SNAP?
No, Donald is not really connected with these things. He's never ridden the subway, taken a taxi, gone through poor neighborhoods. He lives in a world of people who are extremely wealthy folks. He just held this great Gatsby party after the novel by F. Scott Fitzgerald, a gaudy, glaring display at Mar-a-Lago of enormous amounts of wealth and decadence. And so he's disconnected. He thinks people earn much more money than they do. He thinks they have far more in resources than they do. But fundamentally, Donald has no empathy for anyone. And frankly, if you had grown up in the household he grew up in with a monster of a father and a cold and distant mother, you might have turned out like Donald Trump and not have any empathy for anyone else, any sense